Hey, can that horse throw? I mean, what do you think?
I don't think so, Rich.
I mean, the Broncos were considering, they petitioned the league to have their offensive quality control coach start today's game. That is how crazy things have gotten in Denver. Meanwhile, the marquee event still going on as
must
planned.
go on. Takes on new meaning.
And Bucs in the home of the Super Bowl, Raymond James Stadium. Sarah Walsh kicks off our Hour 2 coverage. Sarah?
Game must go.
Hi, Rich. You know, Tom Brady makes more throws inside the tackle box than any quarterback in the NFL this season, so protecting him is always at a premium. The Bucs are hopeful that left guard Ali Marpet and left tackle Donovan Smith will be able to go. Both are questionable and game-time decisions. The Bucs want a rebound in the win column, but they also really want to get that deep ball fixed. Brady is 0 for 19 in his last 4 games of 20-yard passes or more. And he was 0 for 6 against the Rams, picked off twice trying to go long last week. He said when he watched film, it simply came down to not executing those at a high level. The Chiefs come in with the 8th-ranked pass defense in the league, and Brady says they are working hard to do a much better job at that this week.
I think Tom Brady has the opportunity now to play even better than he has the last couple of years.
Brady wants to go deep downfield. It's intercepted at the 25. Come on, Tom. How can you turn that ball over? They're really coming after Tom Brady. Throws a pass. It's batted down.
That's 2 forward passes.
Yeah, illegal. Brady was mugged.
This is why you went and got Tom Brady. He's got 47 game-winning drives.
Brady stands tall. Throws a pass downfield. It is intercepted. Second pick thrown by Brady in the game. That's not going to do it.
Will you believe it has been over a month since Tom Brady's completed a pass, a deep pass, what is termed a deep pass? He's 0 for his last 19 in weeks 8 through 11. 0 for 19. You could see in the first 7 weeks of the season, throwing it over 20 yards. He did fairly well. And again, this is an offense where you got to read deep to short. You know, no risk it, no biscuit.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of, there have been no biscuits. 0 biscuits in the last month.
No
if
biscuits.
you term a biscuit being a pass of over 20 yards. It is Hour 2 of NFL Game Day Morning presented by Lowe's. We put the home team, Rich Eisen and Steve Mariucci, who is the marionette for Kurt Warner sitting at home.
Thank you.
And then Michael Irvin at the very end of our set. Michael's one-on-one chat with King Henry is coming up. That was very well done.
That was creepy.
Yeah, it was creepy. You know what? I'll be honest with you.
That's what I'm saying.
That was creepy. There's no other word for it.
No way.
And Kurt, and of all the adjectives one could use to describe Kurt Warner, creepy is very low on the list. But that was accurate.
Oh, my
Did you see it?
God.
All right, guys, it's time to start talking about Tom Brady again and whether. Oh gosh. And here's the way we're phrasing it. Michael Irvin, are you concerned about Tom Brady, Michael?
I'm concerned about what I see transpiring because of the greatness of this GOAT. You know, like when we see, and we talked about it, we saw some of those passes that he threw down the field. These look bad. These look bad. I'm concerned about his health. You know, because we see how Tom gets, when Tom gets hit, he gets hit. There's some things that are going on. You get comfortable, and Tom should be comfortable. Kurt doesn't think, and I know people may not think that there's something going on. I think Bruce Arians has to let him play his game. His game. His game is the short intermediate. We can't force Tom to hold on to these balls and throw those balls down the field like that and look the way Tom looks. I felt bad for Tom in that last game. I felt bad for him, you know, to see that, to look at that, to look at how he was playing ball. Tom, nobody talked about it this week. Tom did a repass in a game. Threw the ball got back, threw it again. Let's stop playing, everybody. That's the greatest man that ever played his position. He did a repass. He got rid of that football because he felt like it was a hot potato and he didn't want to get hit again. Let's be real. That's what happened. Nobody talked about it this week, but I'm bringing it up. Yes, I am concerned. You have to let him play his game that won him 6 rings and stop forcing it. Rich, you say there's no biscuit. He is the biscuit. They eating him up. They got to stop that.
He is the biscuit. I like that.
He is the biscuit. They got to let this man play his game. I'm concerned.
And don't risk the biscuit, is what you're saying.
Right.
So, right. Otherwise, he will repass again, which would make that a repass, which I don't think is as legal as a repass.
And that's after the 4.
All right, Kurt, you put some words in your mouth. I'll give you the floor.
I mean, he did. I mean, first of all, Irv, he gained 8 yards on the repass, as you put it. I don't even know how that. I don't even know how that works. But the GOAT figured out how to get 8 yards on a repass. Here's the thing. You know, we talked about it when they made this move. Is that what kind of offense would this be? Would it be Tom Brady-esque offense, meaning more TB, more dink and dunk, more control the clock, get first through it there? It wasn't even hard to see. I have to go back to this idea that he's uncomfortable in this system, whether it's what they're asking him to do or just the change in what they're doing, how different it is from what he did in New England. But he looks completely uncomfortable, Coach. And this is something I never expected to see from Tom Brady. No matter how many offenses he was in, I expected him to be able to see the field and throw the ball to the right guy, whether it was complete or not.
This offense is really better suited for Jameis Winston. Big, strong arm down the field. He was better at it than Tom has been this year. Mike's right. He's better at intermediate and short passes, quick and timing and
Getting
accuracy
the ball
and all
out of
that.
his
Not
hands
deep.
before the
Now,
D-line
here's the
gets
thing.
there.
You said Tom Brady's a biscuit. All right? Well, that means he's getting...
Sopping him up.
We say the quarterback's best friend is a run game and a defense, right? You know what his worst nightmare is, his enemy? Is pressure, right? It's hits on the quarterback. It's quarterback hits his pressure, and he's getting that. It's a little bit like a couple other teams. You got Philadelphia with a banged-up offensive line, and Carson Wentz's pressure, it affects them. You got Dallas with a banged-up line. Well, you got...
But that's my point, Coach.
The
That's
Bucs.
my point.
I agree with you.
This man knows how to play pre-snap. Let him play pre-snap.
Pre-snap and get it out.
So the defensive line never hits him.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing in New England.
But when you try to get the biscuits down the field, you got to hold the ball a little bit, and you've got guys like Ali Marpet is out. You got A.Q. Shipley is out. You got Donovan Smith is questionable. That means if he plays, he's limping. You got a rookie at right tackle. So Tom's getting pressure more than he should, and it's hard on him because any quarterback getting pressure like that is going to be inaccurate and throw it off and throw too early and all of those things. He's going through that right now.
He repassed, Coach. He repassed. You say throw me off. He repassed.
I got a quick question to just wrap this up because this conversation sounds a little familiar to me. Remember when Peyton Manning showed up in Denver and Gary Kubiak wanted him under center and Peyton wanted to be in shotgun, and they found the pistol as sort of the Solomon-like decision to split, if you will, the offensive baby. So, Kurt, is there a possibility that we could find something in the final 6 weeks of the season makes everyone comfortable to win right now and win the Super Bowl just like those Peyton Manning-led Broncos did?
I think there is, Rich, and I actually text, Peyton earlier in the year when we were talking about this transition because he's one of those guys that went from one system to another system and did it really, really well, and just asked him how much say did they give him in what they were doing offensively. And he told me as the year went along, as we got into this thing, they allowed him more and more control of what they wanted to do offensively, so it would become Peyton Manning's offense, and that's what led them to all the success they had in Denver. So I think it's a valid question, is that at some point, do they allow Tom to do more of what he's comfortable with? And again, we're all speculating here that Tom isn't comfortable and doesn't love what they're doing based on how they're playing, but it just doesn't look like it did in New England. So will they go that route at some point in time and maybe make it a little bit easier or a little more conventional for Tom Brady?
Well, it's not just speculating, to be honest with you, though, Kurt. I asked Bruce Arians this question on my show just last week, which I'm bringing up now for two reasons. One, he answered it, and two, I have a show every day. No, I asked him, I said, Kurt is saying he does not look comfortable in your offense. Would you agree with that? And Kurt, he said he did agree with it, and I asked him, when do you think he'll start being more comfortable? And I don't think he was joking. He said next spring.
Right.
That was his answer.
Yeah. Well, and I've always said that, Rich. I mean, we even said that even with the great players, that I always said it takes 12 months to get fully comfortable with the nuances of an offense where you can just react and not think. And so that's always been my mantra, is that it's going to be a struggle the first year. I think we all just expected, well, it's the GOAT. It's the best that's ever played. He's going to make it quicker than everybody else, but as you're alluding to, maybe it's going to be that 12-month process for him as well.
All right, and by the way, I had Sean Payton on my show this week. Didn't think to ask him, hey, do you think you'll be facing a practice squad player at quarterback this year? I mean...